Visit signoramawpb.com.
Any business that wants to get to the top and stay there requires a dedicated team to implement a winning game plan. EisnerAmper's seasoned professionals provide business advisory and consulting services, such as audit, accounting, tax, HR, outsourcing, and more. EisnerAmper business advisors help clients transform their companies, build capital, innovate processes, and mitigate risk. For industry-specific strategies that meet your needs in South Florida, make EisnerAmper part of your solution. Visit EisnerAmper.com/solution.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio
Business
station.
owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Trans World Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
Time now for a PNC pause. PNC Bank is committed to helping the customers and the communities they serve move forward financially. See how they can make a difference for you at pnc.com.
Mornings. Nope, not my thing. But when I imagine a McDonald's breakfast in my hand, suddenly the snooze button is out of the picture. Now for a limited time, the 2 for $5 mix and match breakfast deal includes the sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, Egg McMuffin, or the sausage McMuffin with egg. It's like a fist bump for breakfast that says, you've got this. It's time to gear up and seize the day. The breakfast hype is real. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
Attention chicken lovers, we asked for it and McDonald's came through. Introducing the Chicken Big Mac. Treat yourself to the mouth-watering perfection of a Chicken Big Mac. 2 tender, juicy chicken patties sandwiched between a sesame seed bun, plus classic Big Mac sauce, tangy pickles, crisp lettuce, and a melty slice of American cheese. Hey chicken lovers, we did it. Order ahead in the McDonald's app and save 20% on orders over $10. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Offer valid through 12/31/24 at participating McDonald's. Valid once a day. Excludes tax. Must opt into rewards.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
The Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, an affiliate of the Palm Beach Health Network, is committed to delivering high-quality care to the communities they serve. Their award-winning physicians and specialists provide a level of expertise that has resulted in regional firsts and outstanding patient outcomes. For a physician referral, call 866-654-2362. To learn more about the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, visit pbhnphysiciangroup.com, pbhnphysiciangroup.com, to get in touch with the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group.
Guys, you're special today at Unlimited Auto Wash. Monday is Men's Day, and you save up to $5 off any wash at any of their 7 Palm Beach County locations. Check out the daily specials and find your location by visiting UnlimitedAutoWashClub.com.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy!
Light him up, Colin!
A fine Monday. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat behind the glass. October 21st. A lovely weekend of sports, a lovely weekend of baseball, a lovely weekend of football commenced. Came and went. Texas falls. Alabama falls. College football. Who's at the top? Indiana, are they the real deal? We'll get into that a little later. NFL, Deshaun Watson gets hurt. Big story there. Russell Wilson comes in, dominates the Jets. Lions win in emphatic fashion. Packers win a big one over the Texans. Whole lot happened. Whole lot to do. Whole lot of fun to be had at the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach on ESPN 106.3. Hello, Mike. How you doing?
I'm all upset, Kyle. I'm all upset.
About the Guardians?
Yeah, they won, right? We're going to New York Tuesday. Oh no, that's right. They didn't win a game after I picked them to win the World Series. Yeah, very upset. I'm happy for the MLB that they got what they wanted. A little bothered by some of the calls late in the game. The Lane Thomas strikeout was a disgrace. Probably needs to be looked into, but we were outmatched. I mean, I could sit here and complain about numerous things that happened, but Clase's busted. Every hit the Yankees had was a home run. So, Colin, fire up the grill, fire up the oven. I got some crow to eat today for the Guardians going down. Want to apologize to all my Cleveland fans out there, too, that, I put the malarkey on them. I jinxed them. It's my fault. I take full responsibility. And tip of the cap to New York, man. They were better. And how about Stanton? How about my ranting and raving on how phony?
Completely wrong. Talk about somebody who is now living up to his contract number one, but is again one of the best postseason players I think I've ever seen.
Now,
unbelievable how good he's played.
If they win the World Series, I'll eat a crow on that. I still think he's very fraudulent and 30% strikeout rate.
Right. You hate the strikeout rate, but every time there's a big at bat, he is hitting a home run, and especially against the Guardians.
Yeah.
Go ahead. He hit a go-ahead run, a game-tying run, a closure run.
Colin, I have nothing to say other than that guy was utterly unstoppable and incredible. I don't know why Vogt was pitching to him with runners in scoring position. Like I said, we could partner
free base.
Partner, we could go on and on about it. I just wanted to apologize. Number one, I'm not screaming on the radio, guy. And I was screaming on the radio on Friday. I was a very excited fan with a bad take, and I want to apologize to everyone who listens to our program and specifically my Guardian fans, because I'm a big. What are the themes of the show? Magic theme and mojo, and I put the malarkey on that team, and shame on me for thinking that, Colin. Well, there's no starting pitching. We didn't get timely hits.
Well, talk about who has mojo. It's the New York Yankees. That team, crazy to say, is mojo.
Everything was a home run, too. Like, all their balls in the air. Like, Kyle.
Tough at bats. They got some crucial innings out of Kirk Cousins' cousin, Jake Cousins. They have a lot of energy and mojo here. The Dodgers killed the Mets. It's a little different. It's all hands on deck for them. But the Yankees got a little bit of that. And it's going to be dangerous. It's going to be an excellent World Series that's going to, first
Agreed.
pitch on Friday.
A lot of obviously there was some no doubt home runs. Like the one Bybee threw to Stanton was, the ball that Bybee threw to Stanton, I don't think it is landed yet. I think that's still in orbit. But the Soto one, it's like, is it going to go out? Is it going to go out? Like, there are a lot of home runs where it's like, my God, how did that carry? How did that home run carry out? How did it? They got the big hits. We didn't. They're the better team, and Seacat's the better man for it. So, yeah.
Now,
Christian, I got partner. Let me have it. Honestly, just let me have it.
One of the greatest at bats I think I've ever watched was that Soto at bat in that 10th inning on Game 5 on Saturday
against Gaddis.
Talk about he was basically forcing Gaddis, hitting the low changeup, like throw me the fastball, and he was staring him down after every pitch, challenging every ball, and then fires that in there. That, to me, there were MLB players on Twitter talking about it. Brent Rooker being one of them. They're like, at a certain point, if I'm a pitcher and I see Soto staring me down in between foul ball hits, I'm walking him. I'm not dealing with this. I'm walking him.
To your point about this is the first fastball he threw that count.
Yeah. He was asking for it. And he was fouling everything off. He's like, you're not going to get me off speed off the plate. I'm going to hit everything. But you're going to give me a fastball.
All right. One more thing to complain about for me.
All right.
Shame on that cameraman on that Noel hit. I cannot believe
Game 4.
Shame, dude. Like, you can't do that. I could argue in Game 4 When that didn't go out, the series was over right then and there.
Well,
I blame that cameraman.
I thought when Leiter screwed up that bobble coming into first to tie the game at 6, that was when I was like, "Oh God, they're going to blow this."
And then Rocchio extended the inning with the no double play ball.
Yeah, that
so
was a rough play.
But to your point, and I'm very tired of hearing this because it always seems like my teams are on the losing end of these. What a series and what a couple of games. I don't think any other team could go toe to toe with the Yankees like that, other than the Guardians.
You lost in 5,
but at the same time, every game was a thriller. We were in every game until the very end. I'm proud. I know I'm a loser, but I am a loser today. I'm eating a lot of crow, but I am proud of that team, and I'm proud of Vogt. I know he got thoroughly outcoached in some situations, but to even have that team remotely in those games against that team with the firepower they were against, fair play to him, man. I'm proud of that baseball team, and let's hope that the Guards can figure out some starting pitching soon.
Hang the banner. 2024 American League finalists.
We'll hang the division.
The Yankees have plenty of those, let's be honest.
We'll hang.
Let's not play that game. The Yankees have been living off those.
But in all honesty, guys, I'm a big fan of winning the division and going to the playoffs and getting a home playoff series. You won a playoff series against a bitter rival in Detroit. You gave the team that's probably going to win. Now, I don't want to break this thing too down. I know Colin and I will be talking about it throughout the show, but you played a World Series team down to the wire and really gave baseball everything they wanted in that series. Now, I wish we could have screwed everything. The Guardians could have screwed everything up and beat the Yankees, but it wasn't in the cards. And like I said, I can't stress this enough. I'm sorry for screaming on the radio on Friday. I'm sorry for completely having a miserable take and jinxing my baseball team. I let my emotions get in the way, and I'm eating crow.
I'm not going to let you off the hook by saying, how did these balls get out? The baseballs were hit about 440 feet each time. Stanton's were no doubt.
Like 115 off the bat.
Soto's was hit maybe 2 yards deep.
No, the Wells one. The Wells one was like, is that going to go? And then the Soto one was, come on, that thing was in the air for an eternity until it finally landed.
Because it was hit that far.
What a big game player he is. Unbelievable. Blank check. He turned down $400 million and he said, I'm going to challenge this.
Let me ask you this. They're going to pay him.
Absolutely. They're going to offer him. It's a matter of.
He'll accept it. It's the Yankees.
Yeah. I always thought the Mets could be in play for him because the Mets are going to give him a blank check as well. But Steinbrenner is weirdly enough, a lot of his stake is in the Yankees, but he is a penny pincher. He can be cheap, weirdly enough. They have the highest payroll, I understand that, but he does not like handing out a blank check.
If they don't pay Soto, it's not just losing Soto, you're going to lose the clubhouse. That everyone on that roster who will be here next year will be bitterly disappointed and downright distraught about not having Soto.
I agree. And unless he wants out of New York, which he doesn't, because he's a big game player in a big market, that he is. He is that at bat is literally the most unbelievable thing.
Yes. He said this guy's got nothing. Repeating himself. He's got nothing. He's got nothing.
God.
Licking his lips.
And I got to give let's rain on the Guardians parade for a second too. How are you gonna walk Wells? And how are you going to let Verdugo get on base? How are you going to let that happen?
He had 2 outs. But a lot of the action in that series happened with 2 outs.
Yeah.
It just seemed like when you get 2 outs,
everybody tightens up.
You had a lot of pitching changes I felt throughout the series with 2 outs as well. But I'm with you. How do you let Verdugo get on base and you walk Wells and you knew you were in trouble? Right when Soto came up, you knew you were in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree with that.
You had to escape.
Great series, though. Great series. Well, a lot of fun.
You had to escape that inning and win in the 10th. But
yeah. Ultimately, this is the best for baseball. In terms of the Dodgers, Yankees, the most repeated, I guess, World Series matchup in the history of the MLB, but you haven't seen it since '81. This is going to be fascinating. Now, you got 2 teams that, they play like 6 times in the 50s when they were in Brooklyn, New York. And then all of a sudden, they went back and forth a little bit, late 70s, early 80s. This is a team, both teams, that have perennial success in terms of getting to the postseason. Always top of the line in the regular season. Always got the highest payrolls. Always get the biggest players past 15 years. And they never run into each other. This is going to be a huge, huge series, and all of Japan is going to watch it. Theo Dorsey, before this on Theoretically Speaking, was talking about how the NBA is overtaking the MLB. Are we sure about that? Are we sure about that? NBA's got a little more of a social media appeal. But in terms of people tuning into the product, what they're going to watch, MLB is going to do way better than the NBA. It does way better than the NBA. It has done way better than the NBA. Traditionally has done better than the NBA. That, to me, is a little much. The brands are bigger than the NBA, but baseball triumphs in terms of must-watch television. People don't tune in the NBA. Nobody cares.
Not anymore. And I'm with you on. I feel like ever since the Leonard series, ever since the Kawhi Leonard Toronto Raptors against the dying dynasty of Golden State,
and that only did $15 million. Now, we were looking through it. Baseball has had, I think, 8 games since 2000 that have done over $25 million. Basketball, NBA, 3. Game 7, 2013. Game 7, 2016. Game 7. I'm missing it. Lakers, Celtics. The third time around when Lake won in 7.
Kobe.
So those are the only 3 that went over $25 million. Baseball, and only one went $30 million, is that 2016 Cavs game, which is one of the best games of NBA games of all time, if not the best this century at least. Baseball did $41 million that Cubs Guardian series. It did 30-something million in the early 2000s with the Rangers Cardinals. Baseball at its peak, when it has the right teams in the mix and the right storylines, blows the NBA out of the water in terms of people tuning in. So Theo said that like it was gospel. NBA's got a bigger brand, socially, culturally, maybe, but more people watch baseball.
And this is the series they're going to watch. I mean, last year with the Diamondbacks and the Rangers, I feel like it was an afterthought. Like that's why I said I'm happy for baseball, because they got what they wanted. They got the matchup they wanted. They got the 2 biggest teams that they wanted. And I want to say, Colin, the average fan will be tuning in as well. The fan that kind of sits there and goes, all right, which matchup is this? They're all going to be tuned in for this one. And to your point, with the Japanese superstars of Yamamoto and Shohei Ohtani, the Yankees are worldwide. The Yankees have that worldwide brand where, you could be in Barcelona and you could see a native Spaniard with a Yankee hat on. They have that brand. They have that logo. I expect this to do great. I expect this to be a good series as well. I think that's another big thing. I told you, I don't think anyone else in the AL could have put a good effort like the Guardians did, other than the Guards. But let's be completely honest. These 2 teams could be split down the middle. On one side, you have Soto, you have Judge, you have Stanton. And on the other side, you got 2 MVPs in Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts. So I think the Yankees advantage pitching for now. We'll see what Garrett Cole is going to be able to do. We'll see what Rodon is going to be able to do. Now, Cortez Cowan is probably going to be on that roster. I wonder if he starts a game. I wonder how much he plays. Maybe he comes out of the bullpen. But I think this is going to be a wicked good series, and I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, we'll do some breakdown later in the week when the actual games come about. But in terms of star-studdedness, like you mentioned, I don't think we've seen a series, at least in 10 years, where there is this amount of a star-studded game in front of us. Maybe Red Sox-Dodgers, but that was a terrible series.
It was.
And that Red Sox team was one of the best MLB teams this century. Think about it. The biggest star on the American side of things, Judge. The biggest international star, Ohtani. You have Betts, who's right in the mix, the top-selling jerseys. Juan Soto. Freddie Freeman. Cole. It's unbelievable how many stars. It's a perfect situation. It's a perfect storm for baseball. Mm-hmm. They are going to have a field day. A field day. With the ratings they're going to get, the publicity they're going to get. It's going to be the most watched in 10 years, at least. Now, I'm very excited.
I think this is better than a New York. New York fans would argue. And actually, C-Cat, I'm interested to hear what you got to say, partner. Would you, as our household Yankee guy, would you rather have seen the Dodgers Or would you rather do the Subway Series?
Selfishly, I'd like the Subway Series.
Because you think it'd be easier, right?
No, I just know more Mets fans in life, so that's easier conversation. But for the greater good, it is L.A. versus New York, for sure.
Yeah, and Colin, you astutely brought up, too, that like this has been a series that dates back to what, the 40s?
Yeah, before that. Yeah,
I mean,
they shared
Brooklyn,
a city.
Yeah, Brooklyn and New York, so...
This has got a lot of history to it. They're going to do a good job. Thank God we're not dealing with those godforsaken TBS broadcasts anymore, or FS1. We got finally World Series baseball. That's going to be on Friday, first pitch, 8:08 in LA. Should be a lot of fun. We'll get into that. Got a whole full slate of NFL. A couple storylines to follow. The Steelers. Mike Tomlin said, that's why I'm well compensated in the postgame after Russell Wilson put out a pretty good showing, and the Steelers won easy against the New York Jets last night on Sunday Night Football. The Lions, a great game against the Minnesota Vikings. Lions look clear, head and shoulders, in my opinion, the best, most well-rounded team in the NFL. We'll give our thoughts and our reactions. Our Overreaction Monday will be coming up next. We'll talk about what we saw yesterday on the NFL side of things. Stick around. It's Russo Rizzo, ESPN 1063.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 1063.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Welcome to Homestead Miami, your home for the racing high life. A track as vibrant and colorful as South Florida. An Xfinity and Craftsman Truck Series playoffs doubleheader on Saturday. A Cup Series playoffs showdown on Sunday. And it's all caliente. Side by side for the race lead. NASCAR playoffs weekend at Homestead Miami Speedway. October 26th and 27th. Get your tickets now at homesteadmiamispeedway.com.
Hell of a job, guys.
Banyan Printing, your trusted printing, mailing, and signage partner in the Palm Beaches for over 45 years. Banyan Printing's new metallic ink press adds that extra shine so that your product comes out in glossy gold, sparkling silver, or any other color you want to shine. Banyan Printing is the official printer of Kaiser Athletics and would love to be your official printing partner as well. Order products and learn more about what Banyan Printing can do for your business at banyanonline.com or call 561-586-6220.
Hurricane fans, get ready for one of the biggest rivalries in college football. On October 26th, it's the Miami Hurricanes and the Florida State Seminoles at Hard Rock Stadium. It's an orange out, wear orange, and bring the noise in a game you don't want to miss. The Canes and Knowles, October 26th. Tickets are going fast, so secure yours now by visiting MiamiHurricanes.com or by calling 1-800-GO-CANES.
Hey, this is the Fat Jack, and are you ready to make some money betting on sports? We had a great week last week, and we're heading into basketball season next week. A great time to get signed up before Halloween. Go to fatjacksports.com. It's less than $80 a week to make money betting on sports. You can go through at least the Super Bowl or beyond and save even more. You get the Breeders' Cup for free. You get NBA for free through the end of the month when you sign up through October. Save money and win. Go to fatjacksports.com, fatjacksports.com.
I'm Wendy Sartori-Link, your Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections. Election Day is November 5th. Voting by mail is easy and secure. Request online at votepalmbeach.gov or call us at 561-656-6208. Return your ballot with prepaid postage or drop it off at one of our secure locations during designated hours. Our online ballot tracker allows you to get live updates on the status of your ballot, and the deadline to request is Thursday, October 24th. No matter how you vote this November, we're here to make it count. Sponsored by the Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections Office.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen. When you absolutely have to hear the game, it's always on ESPN 1063. Tonight, we make NFL Week 7 walk the plank. The Ravens and Buccaneers finish everything off at 7:30. So get off the sidelines and keep your head in the game with ESPN 1063.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Jordan Love can't decide whether he wants to be Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers. It's like early in the game, he's making some of the most godforsaken throws you've ever seen in your life. And then he puts together a dink and dunk perfect drive a la Aaron Rodgers. Very strange player. It's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3 at the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo. Christian Cat, of course, behind the glass. 888-760-3776, the number to get into the program. 888-760-3776. Now, a whole lot happened in the college sphere, the MLB sphere, the NFL slate. In all those worlds, a whole lot happened. There's a whole lot to react to. More importantly, I want to know what we have to overreact to. Let's get into Overreaction Monday, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Sound the alarm. Let's jump to conclusions. There's no room for reason. It's Overreaction Monday.
Oh, how could I be so stupid?
Presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Overreaction Monday, presented by Hard Rock Bet, Florida's official sportsbook for the first time ever in Florida. Bet on the NFL all season long. Try Hard Rock Bet now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if that first bet does not win. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Started by gambling, call 1-88-ADMIT-IT. Now, there's a couple directions we should go here. I want to start with Mike. Mike, what's overreaction number one for you for the weekend?
Overreaction number one is I think my Super Bowl pick, the Niners are worrying me. 3-4 right now. We talked about this game before the weekend, and both you and I felt the Niners needed this one more than the Chiefs. The Chiefs were 5-0 heading into this game. The Niners were 3-3, sitting at 500. I thought it was a good chance for the Niners to, get back on the right track. Like, I know the Shanahan teams of Ghost Past have kind of done this stuff before where maybe they start out a little slower, but they're able to figure things out. But being 3-4 in the NFC where you got, let's call it for what it is, the entire NFC North breathing down your necks with the Packers being at 5-2, the Lions 5-1, the Vikings 5-1. Colin, I just think they're setting themselves up for failure right now, starting the season at 3-4. I'm really worried about the Niners after they lost to the Chiefs at home. And the way they lost, too. Nothing offensively. 18 points. Couldn't even score 20 points for the home fans. Brock Purdy, 3 interceptions in this one. My first overreaction is I'm worried about my Super Bowl pick, the San Francisco 49ers.
Now, Brandon Ayuk officially out for the year, torn ACL.
Yeah, and he had a big drop in that game, too.
Hey, they paid him all that money, and he stinks.
He played very bad.
Oh, he has played bad all year. And people want to, pour the rain on Purdy because I guess, everybody's due for this, and he's had too much success early on in his career. That's an interesting spot now he's in. Now he's going to play with a bunch of second stringers and try to string together a couple of wins here and eke into the playoffs because they are in a lot of trouble with health, age. Go down the list. I think that division's wide open.
And Colin, that's one of the reasons I picked them to win the Super Bowl because I thought that internal clock was ticking a little bit. You're going to have to pay the quarterback sooner than later, too. Colin, are they even going to pay the quarterback when that time comes? So
that division is wide open.
Big time. The Cardinals aren't any good. I think the Seahawks have probably looked the best through 6-7 weeks.
And they've been up and down on top of that. The
right.
Rams, you got to wait till they get healthy, see what they can accomplish. That is going to be a tricky spot. My overreaction, Indiana is making the college football playoff. Not only am I was fully on board before. Talk about fully on board. Put me in the front seat. I am on this train with Indiana, the football team, and Kirk Cignetti. Wow, forget it. Kurt Cignetti. Kurt Cignetti. Wow, tough one. I like Cognetti more, but Cignetti. Kurt Cignetti, I am on the train. They're going to make the playoff. They have a favorable schedule. They dominated Nebraska. They're ranked 13. They finally get into some national consideration. They're one of 2 teams in college football that haven't trailed all year. Who's the other? Army. Sign me up for Indiana.
I am.
Big Ten's wide open. They're taking it.
I'm Big Ten guy, Colin, but I don't think they've played anybody. Home versus Nebraska at Northwest. By the way,
the thing is, they don't play anybody other than Ohio State the whole year.
Right. We #found out about Nebraska, too. God, are they phony.
Terrible.
They were phony. I'm still sitting here trying to figure out how they beat Colorado by 2 scores. Because I think that Colorado team looks a lot better than Nebraska.
No, they've been solid.
Kyle, home versus Washington at Michigan State. Home versus Michigan at Ohio State.
They're going to give Ohio State trouble.
In Columbus, the week, but that's before
the week before Michigan.
Correct. But
they're going to give them trouble.
You want to know my overreaction? I guess it's not an overreaction, but I needed to have a positive over the weekend. And you want to know what that positive was? The Fighting Illini, baby, beating Michigan. Oski, wow.
They played well.
Colin, my overreaction is I think Illinois could have a shot at the college football playoff. I know that they lost.
They have Oregon this week.
They do.
So all of a sudden, that's 2 losses.
Hang on. What happens if they beat Oregon? What happens if you could get a little magic in a bottle?
What happens if they beat Oregon? I mean, what happens if the Queen
Colin,
comes down on her golden chariot?
Is this not overreaction Monday? What is big voice guy?
You want to know what without
big,
looking? You want to know what the spread is in that game?
Without
take
looking.
A guess.
18.5.
25.
25. Colin, 25. I think I found our first punchline pick of the weekend.
You want to take Illinois on the road?
Not winning by 26 points. Illinois doesn't play like. Now, if Illinois goes out and throws 4 interceptions, all right. It's a lot of points, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points, dude.
See, the Big Ten is lucky enough because the meat of the Big Ten is not nearly as good as something comparatively to the SEC or even the Big 12 for that matter. The meat of those conferences are probably a little better, higher floor. So the Big Ten, all of a sudden, these teams are just beating up on it. The good teams are beating up on the poor teams. Let's think about that middle of the conference for a second. Washington stinks. Michigan stinks. Michigan State stinks. Nebraska, terrible. Minnesota, actually not bad. Northwestern, awful. I watched them over the weekend. That team is awful. Maryland, terrible. Rutgers, god-awful. USC, actually, don't know what type of team that is. They just have, I think, bad luck. Purdue, I know high school teams that can compete with them. UCLA, terrible. That's the thick of it. That's the half the league.
I mean, it's this year. It's Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, and I'm not even certain about. I know this is Overreaction Monday, and I'm overreacting about Illinois. Colin, outside of those 3, I'm still. I know Indiana won us a game in Punchline Picks, by the way, our Punchline Picks where we compete against, theoretically speaking, the show you could listen to 4. Shout out our guy Theo. We pick games against the spread, and we picked Indiana -6.5, and I remember, Colin, I kind of was leaning towards Nebraska, and then you're like, Mike, we got to hop on this Indiana train. You had you
not even a hesitation.
You didn't even waver. So that's how I knew we needed to get on Indiana. But, Colin, there's 3 teams in the Big Ten. And quite frankly...
4. There's 4.
Who?
Indiana.
I'm not buying Indiana.
What do you mean you're not buying? Did you watch the Nebraska game? They throttled them. They killed them.
If they give Ohio... Now, you say that that Oregon and Illinois spread's 25. What's that Indiana-Ohio State spread going to be at Columbus? I mean, if that game is 25.
If Indiana's under, Ohio State will probably get 6 or 7 points if they're undefeated.
But let's give Illinois some flowers, too. They went on the road to Penn State, and it was a 7-point game until 2 minutes left when Altmaier threw an interception. So
it was never as close as the score indicated, but I understand.
I think
you're in on it. Hold on, you're in on Illinois because they played pretty gritty. I could buy that, but in terms of just pure dominance, Indiana scored 181 points. The next highest is Wisconsin at 138.
You're talking. Listen, the Maple Missile. Okay, Rourke went to Ohio University for 3 years before he transferred to Indiana. Trust me, I'm a fan. But you're doing this against Northwestern. You're doing this against Maryland. You're doing this against. I'm sad that Nebraska stinks because I thought they could have been a sleeper for the playoff this year. They stink.
Is it they stink or they were dominated? Or they were dominated?
They stink.
Mike, were they dominated or they stink?
And then another, I guess, God, what is this, my 3rd or 4th overreaction partner? I think the SEC is a little overrated. I think a lot of these teams are.
Your fancy Illinois escaped that Nebraska game
Georgia
in Lincoln.
Colin, I think Georgia is really, really good. I don't know about the rest. I don't know about Tech. Like, remember we gave Texas flowers for beating Michigan. Michigan, what? Can you give me one? Phonies? Frauds? Can you give me a certified Russo phony or fraud?
The SEC is just a gauntlet. I think they're just beating each other up. I think those teams, in terms of ceiling up, the floor up, are so much higher than the rest of the field. They got, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 teams ranked.
Colin, I don't think Alabama had any business losing that game to Tennessee. They're Heisman hopeful.
Oh, they stunk. They deserve to lose that game.
Colin, what I'm saying is they had every chance to win that game, I guess. Let me rephrase. They had every chance to win that game, and their Heisman hopeful, Jalen Milroe,
was terrible.
Never came through.
Terrible. And going for it on 4th and 21 when you had the chance. Oh.
Get a clue. Missouri stinks.
Terrible. I agree.
We'll see about it. LSU 8.
Buy stock on Vanderbilt.
Who did LSU lose to, Colin? USC? Come on. Ole Miss? Fraudulent? Kentucky?
You wanted that LSU pick. I was off on that, and that would have been a good one. LSU, listen. LSU's trending upward. A&M.
Come on, man. Don't give me that, A&M.
So how are you selling me on Illinois, who escaped Nebraska, who just lost by 48 points to Indiana?
Right. But
how are you selling me on the Big Ten?
Let me bring it full circle.
Stack these teams up, they would throttle the Big Ten.
Let me bring everything full circle. I'm not saying the SEC wouldn't. I just think they're not the god powerhouse that they have been in, the last decade. Do you agree there? I think all these teams are very similar, and I think that's why college football is so good this year, is because how wide open it is.
I think there's a sense of parity. I agree with that. I think the two top teams in the Big Ten would be able to compete with any of those teams in the SEC. That, I completely agree. Anybody else in the Big Ten would get steamrolled by the large majority of these SEC teams. That's my opinion.
Do you agree with what? Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State?
No, not even Penn State.
Not even Penn State?
No, I don't. I think Penn State would get throttled by a large number of these SEC teams. Okay. Throttled. Call that an overreaction. There you go. There's mine. Sure. They would get throttled.
I just outside of Georgia, I think Georgia's different gravy. In my opinion, I think Georgia's the number one team in the country.
But then Georgia lost to Bama. So what do you say then? So Georgia loses to Bama.
And trust me, I was the one who said Georgia didn't know how to play on the road.
But Georgia, it was a slow start. Georgia escaped Kentucky. What about that? Georgia allowed 31 points to Mississippi State. What about that? The SEC is a slaughterhouse.
And then Oregon and Boise, Oregon and Ohio State. Oregon could easily have 2 losses on that schedule too. The Buckeyes do have a loss, so I think that's.
I think that just goes to show the actual meat of the conference is so much stronger when any of these teams can really come into these top tier teams and compete. Comparatively to the Big Ten, most of these teams are not even coming close.
Michigan being bad hurts. Agreed?
Yeah. It's just most of these teams are not even coming close.
No,
if they're
you're
playing
right.
Purdue, you're not even faulting.
You're right.
Wavering.
You're right about that. Iowa, Washington, Nebraska, Minnesota, Northwestern, Maryland, Rutgers, UCLA.
Florida beat Kentucky
Purdue.
48-20. 48-20. And Kentucky had Georgia on the ropes. It's mind-numbing how crazy the SEC is. And I don't know how they're going to handle it at the playoff. That was Overreaction Monday, presented by Hard Rock Bet. Try Hard Rock Bet now. Go download it on the App Store, the Google Play Store. Go online to hardrock.bet. Try it today and get up to $100 back in bonus bets. If that first bet does not win, it can be a parlay, prop, the over, whatever you like in the game you choose on Hard Rock Bet. You either win your first bet or get the same amount back as a bonus bet. Try it today. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. I believe we're talking to Presidential Steve. Coming up next, Steve Politzino, the Good Karma Brands president, Palm Beach Sports Commission Hall of Famer. We'll get his thoughts on a couple of things. I want to get his thoughts on concerts because people at Hard Rock Stadium over the weekend were acting like lunatics with this Taylor Swift concert. Sitting out front, waiting for an $1,000 $500 ticket to become available so you could pounce on it. That, to me, is a little too much. And also, I am actually beginning reestablishing, coming out of retirement, on my basketball coaching. Steve Politzino's involved. I'll get into that and more next. It's Russo and Rizzo live here on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 1063.
Hey, it's Josh Cohen for the Accident Attorneys, Anajar and Levine. Car accidents, truck accidents, slip and fall, trip and fall. Did you get injured on the job? Workers' comp problems? My friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine, they will fight for you. Remember, they do not get paid unless you get paid, and they will fight to get you the maximum compensation you know you deserve. Here's what you do. You just call. Call Anajar and Levine for your absolutely free consultation. Do not settle for just any attorneys. Demand Anajar and Levine, and demand the Anajar and Levine difference. It takes just one phone call to begin to take back control of your life. So do that. Take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-FREE. 1-800-747-3733. Anajar and Levine, Accident Attorneys. Take back control of your life.
Palm Beach County's premier college football event is back. Don't miss the 2024 Boca Raton Bowl, Wednesday, December 18th from FAU Stadium and broadcast live on ESPN. Last year's game saw in-state Rising Power USF beat Syracuse out of the ACC. What will this year's game have in store? Big names, big teams, big action. The 2024 Boca Raton Bowl, December 18th at FAU Stadium on ESPN. Don't miss out. Find out more at BocaRatonBowl.com.
It's time to save thousands during the model year-end sales event at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. The new 2025 Kias are on the ground, which means the 2024s need to go. A new 2024 Kia Forte LXS for only $149 per month. Make no payments until next year. Plus, we want your trade. You can get up to $6,000 over Kelley Blue Book fair market value for any trade. And if you have a job bringing home $350 per week, we want to improve your credit so you can drive home your new Kia today. Only at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Call 800-NEW-KIAs or visit online at GreenwayKiaWestPalmBeach.com. Qualified applicants through KFA, 24-month lease, $34.99 due at signing, 10,000 miles per year, 0 security deposit required, plus tax tag and $9.99 admin fee. Negative equity refinanced. 90 days deferred payments. Interest accrues from date of purchase. Discount includes all factory rebates to dealer. Offers don't combine. Expires 11/5/24.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Welcome to Homestead Miami, your home for the racing high life. A track as vibrant and colorful as South Florida. An Xfinity and Craftsman Truck Series playoffs doubleheader on Saturday. A Cup Series playoffs showdown on Sunday. And it's all caliente.
Side by side for the race lead.
NASCAR playoffs weekend at Homestead Miami Speedway, October 26th and 27th. Get your tickets now at HomesteadMiamiSpeedway.com.
Hell of a job, guys.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
Rolling on here on a Monday. Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063. Packed weekend of sports happened. Got a lot to break down. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat. I'd like to welcome in Good Karma Brands president and Palm Beach County Sports Commission Hall of Famer Steve Pollitt Sr. joining us now. Steve, how are we doing today? What's going on?
Very excited, guys. As a Yankee fan, as a baseball fan, to be able to be pumped about the World Series, and as a Giants football fan, to not have to think about Giants football because I'm going to focus on baseball.
I guess
really great spot all around.
Yeah, the New York sports fans got to be pretty happy right now. Let me get your thoughts on this. I know Mike was coming in screaming wax poetic on Friday about how the Guardians were in the World Series. The Yankees, in terms of battling back and responding, I don't think I could think of a better situation. And you're handing Soto that blank check. You're handing, is that you're on the same page? Blank check.
Oh, my God. And at this point, What did he elevate it by? You see the quote, did he elevate what he's going to get paid, or did he bring more teams in the running? I think he just elevated what he's going to get paid. I think everybody saw what they needed to see, and if anything, maybe more teams are out of the running now because of what he elevated it by coming through in the ALCS the way he did.
Is this the most star-studded World Series matchup we have seen in years? I'd argue over 10, 15 years. Would you agree with that, or is there more of an argument to be had?
I think team-studded. I'd say team-studded.
I think it's a mixture of everything. There's a lot. You got Ohtani, Judge, Freeman, Betts, Cole, and then you got
Stanton.
The two biggest markets.
Yeah. I definitely think for this to set up to be Dodgers and Yankees, historic. And you go back and look at the last World Series matchups and the last several World Series matchups, there is no doubt. Great question on total amount of stars. I think the problem is the Dodgers lack that star pitcher. And from a Yankees standpoint, they too are sort of a team that cobbled it together outside of Cole. There's very little like elite, not what they pay people. They pay people elite, but in terms of elite. So let's call it star offensive players. I would argue overall, real lack of quality on both pitching staffs in terms of brands. Kershaw's late in the career. Bueller's great, but I'm going to go most offensive stars, yes. Most fielding stars, yes. Non-pitchers, yes.
Steve, as a Yankee guy, what's your concern level for the Dodgers? How worried are you heading into this?
They get hits, timely hits. The Yankee bullpen is soft. They go in stretches. They're not elite. They pitch elite in stretches. They are not an elite bullpen, and that is, to me, that's the biggest problem with the Yankees have, is that the Dodgers get timely hitting. They have a lot of tough outs in the lineup. I like the way Dave Roberts makes their lineup. There's a lot of tough outs up and down, and I think that's the fear factor, that the game's never in hand. As you saw with your Guardians, Mike, they couldn't do enough because they gave it right back with their bullpen and their defensive play. But you saw their lineup is not as deep as the Dodgers, but they hung in there.
Crazy. Steve Politzino joining us now, Good Karma Brands president, Palm Beach County Sports Commission Hall of Famer. Steve, Taylor Swift was in Miami over the weekend. Mike didn't know this, by the way. I'm surprised Mike did not.
So I put two and two together, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Maria, she texted me. She said she was in Miami for a concert. I didn't press her on the concert. I basically just said, come up if you got time and this and that. Come to find out, rather, that people were spending $5,000 on Taylor Swift tickets. Your thoughts?
Not surprised. Definitely saw a lot of that. New friends of friends. You see the social media of who's where, and for some people this is it. This is the Beatles. This is, if I'm going to save up for what I talked to some people about it yesterday. They're like, this is it. If this is the only concert I take my kid to, or I go with my best friend to, for 5 years, this is the one.
Right.
So I think because there's so many opinions about music. Like in sports, you can just basically say they're great. Their stats define their greatness. Music has so many opinions and genres. You being a great example of that, Mike.
Yep.
That there's where the debate is. Like, would you pay for that? I know you argue in sports. Would you pay to see that player? If you like that sport, you're probably going to say you're going to pay to see the best player. It's just that music is so fragmented. There's so many different opinions that some may say, oh, that's a few $1,000s is a bargain. Some would say I would never do that because I don't like that style of music. Like you're not into that, as we've learned on this show, with your varying music interests.
Well, what about the principle of it all? That is a lot of money. I understand doing it for a big. There's an argument to be made about the big game because you're a lot closer. But these are giant concert venues that are in football stadiums, and these people are paying, waiting outside the stadium for maybe somebody selling at the door for thousands of dollars. Is that not a little much? Is that kind of crazy?
Yeah, and Steve, I'm not going to throw one of our teammates under the bus, but he basically came up to Colin and I and said, it's either Santa comes, kids, or you go and see Taylor Swift. I wouldn't give her a nickel. Honestly, $5,000, $5,000. Steve, I could go to LA. I could see my Uncle Johnny and Jamie and sit courtside to do a Laker game. $5,000 for For nosebleeds? You're out of your mind. Wouldn't spend a nickel.
$5,000. Okay, so $5,000. Now, 5's a lot, but were people really paying $5,000
for three tickets?
Let's assume for a couple tickets. So, $5,000.
You're bringing the
probably,
kids.
Okay.
It's probably $1,500 to $2,000 for a ticket, I would assume. Maybe I'm wrong.
Right. But if you're regularly, what concert tickets under $100 to $200? So if you just say, all right, instead of going to a couple of years, this is the only one I'm going to for 3 or 4 years. There's your $5,000. There's your $4,000. So to me, it's like, if this is the biggest thing, you would look. I would never pay that. I'm not even. I have boys. I think I would never do that. Now, is there anything though? How about this, Mike? Guardians are in the World Series. Okay. Guardians are in the World Series. Would you pay $1,500 for a ticket to one game? Could you justify that?
I think that is.
I'm saving up. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that.
Would you do that,
Steve? Here's the problem. My connections would probably make it not to be $1,500. Does that make sense? Like,
God.
Does that make sense? Like, I'm not paying $1,500 to get it.
God, shut up.
I'm not paying $1,500 for anything when it comes to sports related stuff.
Crap. High society white horse. Oh my
Steve. But you got to realize, like, I like 15.
Sorry. I didn't know I was dealing with Colin. Let me go to Colin. Let me go to more of an everyman. Colin.
You guys get what I'm saying. I don't want to hear that.
Colin, Jags in the Super Bowl. Okay, you're a huge Jags fan. Jags in the Super Bowl. Obviously not this year. Probably not next. Most likely not in your lifetime. That's why this is hypothetical. Jags in the Super Bowl. Getting Super Bowl ticket these days is probably $3,000 to $4,000.
Yeah, it's more than that.
Get
yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Say it's $5,000. Would you pay $5,000? I know you don't have the connections that Mike does, so he can't answer this question.
This is my team. I covered the team, for God's sakes. I know people in the building.
Steve,
But you know what? The thousands of people listening can't relate to that.
You're not getting a free ticket to the World. You're not getting a free ticket to the World Series,
me.
Mike. You're not getting a free ticket to the World Series.
You asked me.
Sorry, I asked you representing the average fan. I forgot that you're not.
Steve, I've thought about this. I've thought about this. The Super Bowl, to that point, it's a little different. Like World Series Game 7. Super Bowl. Here's the problem with the Super Bowl. I think football in person, and I'm not sure if you've been to a Super Bowl, but I know you've been to plenty of games, is I think an overrated medium to live is a little overrated comparatively to the rest of the sports. I think you're so far away. I think it's a mastered product on television. Now, what I would do if I were in that situation, and let's say it's in New Orleans or Las Vegas or LA, is I would like to go, if the Jags were in it, I'd be into going for the Super Bowl week. Go for Radio Row week, get the whole thing that way. That'd be more the rah-rah that I'd get into. And then go somewhere local to where I would want to watch the game, whether it's back home or whatever, to watch the game instead of spending that type of money. That is probably, if my team was in it, that's how I'd do it.
You guys are both weirdos, and neither of you guys are gay. So Mike removed himself due to his connection.
You guys are so funny.
You think Colin, you think a regular fan is going to take the week off? A guy who's working as an electrician is taking the week off, flying to where the Super Bowl is at exorbitant prices and room rates, and then leaving on Saturday or Sunday morning to watch it from their couch?
I thought you were asking Colin Russo. Steve, I thought you were asking Colin Russo.
No, you're
Colin
not allowed
Russo,
to do that.
No.
I did that. You're not allowed to do that.
Colin Russo can bring the Comrex and work. That'd be different. This I understand. I would just want to be
you both as a fan.
Yeah, listen. If it's in LA, I can maneuver my way. You stay with somebody who lives in LA. You don't need to get you don't need to stay at the Four Seasons.
Steve, I'll answer it. From where I'm at in my career right now, I cannot afford to drop $1,500 on tickets. Maybe in 10 years, absolutely. But now, like,
I don't think that's worth it. Yeah,
Steve, when I think of $5,000,
that's the people that are doing it on Taylor Swift. It's people with kids. It's not people that are 20, whatever you are.
Then I have to. Then as a father figure or whoever I'm buying these tickets for, I got to have the conversation with the girls of, honey, look, we love Taylor Swift, with this, but we just can't swing it.
Or the boys.
We can't
swing. I spoke to somebody earlier today who is literally furious at her spouse because the spouse had some access to ask for tickets, even to purchase them, and he didn't because he was like embarrassed to ask the boss. And this woman is furious at him.
Really?
Furious. Like, big time.
Now, you mentioned going to, like, the allure of concerts, I think, is the historical significance. Something like, Live Aid, Woodstock, something that's more of a one-off. A tour date, I don't think it's just not worth. I don't know if it's worth the punch. I'm also not a live music person either. I think that's crazy to spend that type of money, even for a sports event. I just think it's way too much money.
Yeah,
for 3 hours.
I mean, Woodstock, nobody knew what they were going to at that point. Live Aid was big. These are those moments in time. The Swift stuff, and it's the memories. I think it is crazy if you can't afford it. I think if you have the means or you have the justification, that's the thing now. I mean, it's just money, right? And then it's what are you going to sacrifice for that money?
That's true. Steve Pilot, Senior Good Karma Brands President, Palm Beach County Sports Commission Hall of Famer. Steve, I want to shift gears a little bit. One thing that I guess we could finally make public because the season is now upon us is Steve is obviously very well connected in the West Palm Beach community. And Steve, I'm going to butcher your actual title, but he is the commissioner, something like that, of the youth sports movement in the area. And I'm not going to get into specifics on which, but
that was horrific. I'm the vice president of Palm Beach Gardens basketball, volunteer.
Oh, you're not even the president. So you don't even have that. You don't even have the title. I oversold you. My fault.
That's what we do. We oversell. We oversell. That's what we do.
Steve, I oversold you. So Steve is, the mailroom guy for Palm Beach Gardens basketball league. And I will be a coach. And this is going to be, I believe, 7th and 8th grade boys basketball. Steve, you're somebody who has a lot of experience coaching in the whatever age group it may be. It's been a couple years since I've been back in the game. I wanted to get your thoughts on what I should be doing, how I should approach this.
First off, it's great you're doing it. Youth coaching, there's never enough coaches. There's never enough parents that can step up and do it. We get people have constraints on their time and as well as capability. So nice job by you saying, hey, if there's any sport, little league type of thing I can coach. So you're stepping up and coaching basketball. It's actually 7th through 10th grade. Some divisions have been merged.
Wow.
So, you got a little bit of a range. I think it's fascinating that you said, I'm not coming to the draft, just hand me my team. So, you're basically the classic head coach. You can't pull the Bill Parcells. If you want me to cook the dinner, you got to let me buy the ingredients. You have eschewed that, and you will be handed a roster. We'll see what you can make of them. I believe the difference is in the coaching. And, can you squeeze 2 or 3 extra wins? Can you squeeze an extra playoff game out of this bunch? That's what really is going to be the interesting part when you get on the court coming up next week.
Now, Steve, I always say, coaches, you're as good as your best mates you have on your bench or on your coaching staff. I am going to be helping Colin out. So I am going to be helping. I am going to be helping Colin out. So this is going to be our team coming up. We are truly excited and looking forward to it.
Now, Steve, if I have a situation in which Pat Riley in winning time telling Magic Johnson that he's too wrapped up in Hollywood and calling Kareem old, I can't have one of those situations in which I put my team in check. These are children we were talking about in the youth league, but I want to embody some of the Dan Hurley type mindset that we're going to work hard, we're going to win some games here. Now, how do I balance that amongst coaching in a youth league? Listen, we're here to win. We're here to win games. We're going to be watching film. I'm going to show them Coach Carter first practice. We're going to be doing a lot here. How should I handle this? And more importantly, how should I handle that and the parents?
That's going to be interesting. You're going to get all different sorts here. This age group, you got kids that are serious about it. You got kids that maybe it's another sport for them. You got kids that maybe just kind of want to run around and do something. A lot will be a lot's going to depend on what kind of practice. The biggest thing is going to be your first address to the team and that first email to the parents. That is going to tell a lot about you. And it will also tell a lot to me as the administrator of the league, how many parents call and ask to switch teams or for refunds.
No, it will not be the latter. It will not be the latter. We're going to have fun. This is fun, Colin. This is fun.
We're here to win games.
This is fun.
We're here to win games. We're going to press full court. Steve.
You can. Free subs. We really can. I mean, that's
how many timeouts?
The Palm Beach Gardens rec rules, but we got 3 timeouts per game, and they carry over.
Okay. All right. So, Kyle, we got 3.
Steve, this is going to get intense.
3.
Steve, this is going to get intense. You realize this, right?
Yeah. Luckily, I'm not coaching in that division. That would be interesting, coaching against you guys. I feel like I might have to sit on your bench and keep an eye on you two.
No, we'll be all right.
Sure not sure if we're doing these parents a solid or what, but we'll know in a couple of weeks.
We'll call the yellow flag at 5 complaints. And once we get to 7, then we could have a conversation. But 5 will be all right. Maybe we should calm down a little bit. But, Steve, I appreciate you joining us as always. Great conversation. Thanks for your input, and we'll talk next week.
Be on the court.
You got it. That's Steve Pollitt, Sr., the Good Karma Brands president, Palm Beach County Sports Commission Hall of Famer, presented by PNC Bank. He joined us then. But always appreciate Steve's input. He's somebody who knows the area more than anybody, and someone that provides a lot of insight into the ins and outs, days, and running things like we will be running a 7th through 10th grade youth basketball team. That's going to be fascinating. I thought it was 7th, 8th. There's going to be 10th graders. We need bullies. This is going to be this is a crucial growth spurt year that we're going to be hitting now.
We got to find the leader of the team. We got to find the.
You need the Ben Wallace. Who's gonna?
Yeah, we got to find the
Ben
leader
Wallace.
of the team.
You're going to have insubordinates. They're going to bully you. You got to lay down the law. 10th graders, they have minds of their own.
Have you seen Coach Carter? Have you seen this?
A while ago.
So Coach Carter, he opens up the practice and he kicks the 2 best players out of the gym immediately. We're going to see what type of team we got, but if I got to remove 2 kids from the team, I don't want to see you. And then make Timo Cruz run 5,000 suicides to rejoin the team, I will do it. This is going to be fascinating.
Now, I do need to study Hurley's offense. You got to send me some stuff.
I'm going to send you some practice of Hurley too. My brother has stories. He was a GA on UConn for a couple of years. Hurley would chuck basketballs at his head. He would make him take his shoes off, and he would light incense in the practice facility to get the bad spirits out. If the water wasn't the right temperature, he would lose his mind. That's the type of coach of perfection that Dan Hurley is at UConn. We're going to see what type of things we can adopt. That's on one side of things. But when I need to actually engage myself and instead of coaching, actually be involved in the physical activity, I go to F45. F45 right here in downtown West Palm Beach. Locations in Wellington and Palm Beach Gardens as well. It is the best. It is a group-style exercise. 2 coaches always in the room with you. A variety of functional exercises that incorporate stretching, that incorporate strength training, that incorporate endurance. And it's also a social environment. So you get to meet a bunch of people. You get to mingle and chat in and out. There's the challenge going on right now where you got heart rate monitors, and you can match yourself and test your body mass index week by week. It's a whole lot of fun. I love F45. I go every single morning. It's the great way to start my day with a great sweat. It's the best type of exercise you could pass. Go check out their Instagram, F45 West Palm Beach. Talk to Jonathan Zazzle a little later in the show. We'll do a little 5 and 5 next. Stick around. It's Russo Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Anajar and Levine. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Madame Giselle senses a change in your future.
Is it a promotion?
I see a door opening.
Ooh, to a corner office?
There's a creature. Beady eyes, lots of hair.
Is it my boss, Dave?
No, raccoons everywhere. Your RV door is open, and they're chewing everything.
Not a problem. I'm covered by Progressive. Do you see a bigger paycheck?
Customize your coverage with Progressive's Pest Damage Protection and be prepared for the unexpected. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pest Damage Protection available for RVs less than 6 years old. $250 deductible applies to any claim.
Festive fun is back on select nights. At Palm Beach Zoo, there's family fun. It's the best date night. Oh, Zoo Lights cheer, Zoo Lights lights cheer here at Palm Beach Zoo. Oh, what fun it is to save wildlife at the zoo. Hey!
Zoo Lights, presented by Florida Power and Light Company and Discover the Palm Beaches, Florida. Get your tickets today at pbzoo.org/zoolights.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees in the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 20 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and 2023 football, lacrosse, and men's swimming and diving titles. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Time now for a PNC pause. PNC Bank is committed to making a difference in the lives of the customers they serve in the South Florida community. See how at PNC.com. You're listening to ESPN 106.3.
Good Greek moving and storage. Your superhero movers.
It's the Good Greek Spiro. For the best move ever, go to goodgreek.com.
Good Greek moving and storage. Your superhero movers.
Hi, I'm Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. As you have likely seen and heard, law firm advertising is at an all-time high. Attorney ads seem to be part of every radio and TV commercial segment. Some firms are even using paid actors and actresses to speak for them. At Smith Ball Baez and Prather, we know that the decision to hire a law firm should never be based on advertisements alone. It is our past results and many positive 5-star reviews that we encourage you to read at smithball.com to learn more about our law firm. We have board-certified lawyers. We have lawyers listed in the best lawyers in America and in super lawyers. But most importantly, we have experienced lawyers located right here in Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast that are ready to be your advocate and your voice, and fully prepared to start fighting for your legal rights today. Our purpose, legal power. Our mission, huge results. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball Baez and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball Baez and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Rolling on here, second hour of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Mike Rizzo, Colin Rizzo, Christian Cat, of course, behind the glass. That was Steve Policino, who joined us last segment. Always love when Steve joins us. We got Jonathan Zaslow coming up here pretty shortly. But in the meantime, we'll like to loop in Christian Cat to the show. C-Cat, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm on top of the world. My favorite team in sports is going to the World Series. The New York Yankees.
There you go. You think they'll win easy?
No.
Win in 7?
I think 6.
Wow, so
that's pretty easy.
Yeah,
no?
it's not hard.
It's the second hardest.
C-Cat really made an enemy of himself in my hometown this weekend. I'll tell you that, man.
Your heathens were coming after me.
Not my
People
heathens.
are coming after you on what, social media?
Well, C-Cat, as Theo said, C-Cat almost got canceled over the weekend on social media. But I just responded. I said, my God, where's the class?
People are coming after you?
Yeah, a lot of Clevelanders.
Midwestern mouth breathers coming after me, dude.
Really?
I said, yeah, I had a great line. Maybe it was better on a text than it is in the spoken word. Rizzo goes, "Where's the class, Yankees fans?" I go, "Class A's on the Guardians, and he sucks." Isn't that good?
Colin, Cleveland defends their own, and as a son of the town, they had my back. Fair play to him, man. Love those people.
Yeah, they don't love me.
No, they don't. That is for sure.
This
they do not.
DB needs to get punched in the face.
That's what they said?
No,
said.
I had a problem with someone. I had a problem with that. And I had a problem. I mean, Someone called CCAT fat, and it just doesn't even.
He called you fat?
I got
Someone
fat
called
shamed.
him fat.
First time in my life.
Wow, how'd that feel?
You know what? It felt good because I struck a nerve. I understand why people are trolls and the appeal behind the whole just saying ludicrous stuff just to get someone angry. I now understand it.
Well, yeah, because he did it over the weekend. But CCAT is not fat. And, I think the way you recorded it, CCAT, made you look like you had 5 chins. But, what? Listen, let's get to the 5 at 5. How about
let's do it.
Let's get to the
Number 1.
Cheryl Reeve, head coach of the Minnesota Lynx. She went to the media after losing Game 5 of the WNBA Finals to the Liberty and said, congratulations to the Liberty in their first championship. It took them 28 years. Congrats to them. We were that close to our 5th. And then she kind of expanded on it and was kind of mad.
I know all the headlines will be Reeve cries foul. Bring it on, right? Bring it on. Because it was stolen from us. Bring it on.
That belief was stolen from us after losing Game 5, which is the clincher.
Now, I watched the ending of this game.
No,
I
you did.
I cannot believe
Stop
I did.
lying.
That
Stop
Sunday Night Football, it was at halftime, number 1.
You're lying.
And it was I had 2 screens. I had a computer and I had the TV. And the Sunday Night Football is at halftime. I was like, I got to tune in. I got to see what's going on here. And it was a good game. It was close. Good game is a word. It was close. So all of a sudden, I saw this play live. The call was bogus. Breonna Stewart with 6 seconds to go gets called a foul. They have a challenge. They use the challenge, the Lynx do. And they go and check on it. And it was like one of the more blatant non-fouls I think I've seen in quite some time. And they stuck with the call. Said they didn't have a landing zone. It wasn't. These girls do not jump like the NBA guys do when they're shooting jumpers. So it's not like there's a landing zone to impede upon. This is just physical. This is not me. I'm sorry, but
it just came off so.
It's not what I meant. But they're not jumping out of the gym. Let's just put it that way. So my point is, what landing zone are you impeding upon? It was the worst call. It was such a bad call. And so I can't blame the perspective. I blame the situation. You lost. It went to OT, and you smoked it in OT. So it's not like it lost you the game. It just tied it up.
They scored 2 points in overtime.
Yeah, this is not. If you lost the game because of that, then I'd maybe understand that.
What are we talking? They scored 2 points in overtime.
I agree with that. You're 100% right.
Stolen.
100%
Give me
right.
a break.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Hey, the Guardians lost, but at least you have those brownies. Well,
God,
I guess
CCAT.
you don't have them.
Leave me
Deshaun Watson
alone.
tore his Achilles in the game against the Bengals yesterday. Fans in Cleveland, they cheered. Myles Garrett and Jameis Winston used their media availability to publicly defend Deshaun and kind of were aggressive towards the fans. What is your reaction to how the fans and players treated this situation?
I wouldn't have booed him. I understand there's horrible off-field stuff. Listen, we all know the situation. There's no need for me to get into it. All right? I'm not a Deshaun Watson guy, but I'm sorry, guys. I'm never going to root for someone who just root for someone who just got injured. All right? As much as I can't stand Giancarlo Stanton, okay? I'm not clapping when Giancarlo gets hurt. I'm tipping my cap.
It's a different situation, but
It is, but I'm tipping my cap. I'm going, I hope you get better. You're a great ball player. All right?
Are you
know.
saying the same to Deshaun?
I'm not saying that, but I'm not, whoa! I'm not cheering like a you-know-what. You're rooting for a guy that just got hurt. This is the second time Brownie fans have done this. They did it to Derek Anderson in 2008. All right, look that one up. There's something you didn't know if you tuned into Russo and Rizzo today. It's ain't the first time this has happened at that stadium. I'm sick of it.
That was 16 years ago, but I understand.
But listen, I'll never root for someone who got hurt. That's my 2 cents on this. There are bigger things in life than sports. But also,
I agree with that. There are bigger things in life than sports.
I'm not going to listen. Man, I wanted to wrap things up. I wouldn't have booed him. I think it's ludicrous. I think it's ridiculous. But I'm not going to shame someone. I'm not going to sit here and go, shame on you for booing. I'm just not going to do that because of the situation.
Some things are bigger than sports, and Deshaun Watson's history is bigger than sports. For that, I have a hard time going after the fan for doing this Because this is not just about his play on the field. If he was just a poor player and they booed him, that's a completely different situation. Deshaun Watson, the reality situation, he's not just a normal player on the field. He has had a very troubling past and a very, frankly, disgusting past. And that had something I'm sure his play on the field attributed to it as well. But that's how it went. His play on the field was not good, yes, but he's also a terrible person off the field, and all the money, everything. It's a mixture of all. It's a whirlwind.
The problem is, this is the problem I have. Number one, I said I'm not going to shame anyone who did it. That is your prerogative, your prerogative if you did it. But I want to remind Brown fans, if he were playing well and the Browns were 4-1, okay, 5-1, they wouldn't have been cheering, okay? So for everyone taking the moral high ground, I booed him because of this. If that young man was 5-1, I guarantee you the stadium would have been booing their face off like they were.
I think there's some truth to that. But to the same token, it's bigger than sports at that point. People don't want to see him anymore. I think they're probably okay with him not being any more affiliated on the team. That's probably the situation. So ultimately I can't. It's hard for me to go after the Brown fan, and I can't. The players too, how they handled that. I wouldn't have done it that way myself.
For sure.
Calling him a model citizen, Myles Garrett.
For the most part.
Pot calling the kettle black.
He said he's a model citizen for the most part in his NFL career. And then
is Garrett a model citizen either?
Jameis went preacher. Winston went preacher mode. I don't know. I'm with you.
Three guys. I mean, come on. I wouldn't call them really the yellow brick road of morality.
Very Bush League, I thought, for those two to do that. But they're his teammate. They were trying to defend him.
Yeah, it's a tough spot.
They were trying to defend him.
Number three.
Number 3.
Number 3 on the 5 at 5, Tua Tagovailoa. He's officially slated to practice this week, aiming for a return to action Sunday against the Cardinals. Tua stated he will not wear the Guardian cap due to personal reasons. Any shot Tua can turn things around for the Dolphins?
I think that they'll play better, and I honestly saw a little something this weekend. Their defense was stingy. And because of that, I give them a little bit of credit for being a little more prepared. But I think this Tua thing, and it sucks to say, I think this is a ticking time bomb. I know he's talked about how he's symptom-free. What happens if he gets another concussion? What happens then? What is the stopping point?
And the problem is, we were saying this the last time, or the Cincinnati time, before this one. We were saying this stuff when he got hurt at Cincinnati, and then guess what? It happened again.
You can't just keep doing this. You can't. You're playing with somebody's health. I have a lot of worries for him. But if he comes in and stays healthy and plays well, yeah, they're going to be a whole lot better. They've shown that. Will they be a playoff team? Probably not. But turning it around is a word.
Agreed with everything you say.
Let's get to the continue on, whatever we are. 4.
Number 4.
The New York Yankees are taking on the Dodgers in the World Series. Is this the most star-studded World Series we've seen in decades?
The one, it's probably the one that I've seen in my lifetime. I know there's some down the line, of course, where there's 1,100 Hall of Famers playing. That's probably for me in my lifetime. That's the one I've seen.
Yeah, this is awesome. As much as it stinks that my team lost, CCAT, this is great. I mean, the lineup that the Yankees have, the lineup that the Dodgers have, the Betts, the Ohtani, we've talked about them all show, the Judge, the Stanton, the Soto. An underrated one for me was the Diamondback year. Curt Schilling, Randy Johnson, Luis Gonzalez, and that whole Yankee team. Yeah. That was a lot of fun.
A lot of Hall of Famers in that one. Number 5.
Number 5.
Well, taking over 305 over the weekend were Swifties. Fans of Taylor Swift waited for hours outside of Hard Rock Stadium over the weekend to potentially secure last-second $1,000 tickets to see T Swift. How much would you possibly spend for a concert ticket event? Is that crazy?
I wouldn't give her a nickel. Not a nickel.
What about for a concert? No. What do you mean, no?
For Taylor Swift? For a Taylor Swift concert? No.
What about any concert?
Solo show.
Depends.
It's only for Mike Rizzo. Taylor Swift shows up to your, apartment and just does a 3-hour set for you.
I would be uncomfortable. I would be uncomfortable with that. What are you doing here?
I guess, to your point, I'm that guy, man. I got Kid Cudi seats in Chicago, but I got them,
The connections.
You guys make fun of me.
This guy,
ridiculous.
You make fun of me.
This guy can get on the moon if he wanted to with his connections.
Stop it. I mean, straight up, Steve asked me, he goes, Guardians are in the, I could probably, honest to God, you guys make fun of me. I could probably find, a discount, at least. I'm not paying $1,000. You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind if you think I'm paying $1,000. Out of your mind.
We go to the phone lines pretty quickly. We go to Virginia. Max in Virginia got some thoughts on Yankees Guardians. What's going on, Max?
How we doing? So
Good.
I'm a big Yankees fan, as you guys know. But I just wanted to get your thoughts. What are your thoughts on? I preferred facing the Dodgers over the Mets, just because of matchups. We can't hit lefties for our life.
Okay.
And yeah, I just think the Mets have had our number the entire season.
Now, if you think it's a better matchup, do you think the Yankees are going to win this series? And if so, how many games?
I think the Yankees win in 6.
Wow.
The thing is, I do think it'll be tougher, but like playing the Mets, I just wasn't a fan of that at all. Just the lefties, like as you can see, versus the Royals, the lefties are killing us.
Now, instead of running into Andres Jimenez, you're going to be running into Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, and this is a different animal. Like, I could argue the Guardians.
Oh, I know.
The Guardians,
it's battle tested at this point.
My beloved Guards pooped themselves in big moments. I don't see the Dodgers doing that.
I know, but I don't think the Dodgers pitching is as impressive, and I think all you need is a couple good innings from the starters, and let the bullpen take the rest.
All right, Max in Virginia. Appreciate the call there. We shift on. Old Cooler in Jupiter joins us now on Russo and Rizzo. Old Cooler, what's on your mind here?
I got 2 things, boys, real quick. Deshaun Watson, it's okay to be mad at him. It's okay to boo. These fans are paying X amount of money to get to the stadium. They're buying $17 beers. They have $47 hot dogs. Parking costs $50, and he destroyed their organization for years with a 2.25 salary, guaranteed, first-round picks. They're booing the situation, and when you're a professional athlete, too bad. They don't mind when they're clapping. So when you boo, that's all part of it. It's not fair. It comes off wrong, but that's life. And then the other thing with Tomlin, everyone's waking up today calling this guy a genius. He handled the whole situation poor. If he would have just said, this Russell's our guy from day one, he's going to be our guy when he's healthy, it's his job. Instead, he does that whole, I'll let the weak speak to me. He divided the locker room. I have a lot of friends in that locker room. I got friends that cover that team. That room was divided. He actually got very lucky by actually, the results that he got yesterday, because that was a very delicate situation. So, it's far from over, but at the same time, he's still on the hot seat, and people won't believe that after yesterday's performance. But if he played piss poor yesterday, that room's divided, and then there'd be a bigger mess.
I'm kind of with the Old Cooler.
You said hot seat on this? You said it's so divided that almost, in what sense? They're on the bad terms with him? Or this is Mike Tomlin we're talking about, guy who's been there for 15 years?
He's been there for 15 years, but you look at the last time they went to a playoff game and got a win. Everyone's happy he never had a losing season. But what the hell are you going to do with a 500 season? That's the same as losing.
Old Cooler, are you a Steeler fan? Old Cooler?
Back when I was alive, I would say so. Now I'm just a neutral cat that has 3 kids out of the house.
There you go. Appreciate the call there.
Thank you, Old Cooler.
Hey, a little bit of insight there into the Steeler locker room. I agree with him. He did not handle that properly. We'll get to Jonathan Zaslow coming up next. Stick around. It's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Hey, it's Josh Cohen. When you need auto repair, honesty and reliability are everything. Trust the home for honest, reliable service since 1970. St. Lucie Battery and Tire. St. Lucie Battery and Tire has all the tire and battery brands in stock for cars, trucks, RVs, marine, power sports, golf carts, everything. Major and minor service repairs, free tire pressure, battery checks. St. Lucie Battery and Tire, over 50 years in our community. And now with 18 full-service locations, West Palm to the Treasure Coast. Go to slbt.com. That's slbt.com.
Madame Giselle senses a change in your future.
Is it a promotion?
I see a door opening.
Ooh, to a corner office?
There's a creature. Beady eyes, lots of hair.
Is it my boss, Dave?
No, raccoons everywhere. Your RV door is open, and they're chewing everything.
Not a problem. I'm covered by Progressive. Do you see a bigger paycheck?
Customize your coverage with Progressive's Pest Damage Protection and be prepared for the unexpected. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pest Damage Protection available for RVs less than 6 years old. $250 deductible applies to any claim.
Hurricane fans, get ready for one of the biggest rivalries in college football. On October 26th, it's the Miami Hurricanes and the Florida State Seminoles at Hard Rock Stadium. It's an orange out, wear orange, and bring the noise in a game you don't want to miss. The Canes and Knowles, October 26th. Tickets are going fast, so secure yours now by visiting MiamiHurricanes.com or by calling 1-800-GO-CANES.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Kicking off the week here on a Monday after a packed weekend of sports. Yankees-Dodgers on Friday. Had a full slate of NFL football, good NFL football on that early slate with the Texan-Packer game and, of course, the Lion-Viking game. Big week of college football. Somebody who's on the college football tour joining us now. I'd like to welcome in Mr. Jonathan Zaslow of the Zaslow Show 2.0, the college football tour on ESPN Radio. Mr. Zaslow, what's going on? How you doing?
What's going on, Zaz?
I'm doing okay, except it's Groundhog's Day for me. We're coming every Sunday, Dolphins football for 3 hours. It's 3 hours of my life that I'm never going to get back. It's water torture every Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, it was ugly. We'll start there. Tua Tagovailoa is coming back. I don't think we've gotten your thoughts on this situation. Been a couple weeks since the concussion. He claims he's been concussion-free. Of course, you got the whole fiasco with the Guardian cap now. But is he coming back? My perspective is this is just a matter of time until this happens again, being concussed so many times. But what's your perspective on how if Tua could turn around the season and him coming back in general to begin with?
Well, look, it was certainly telling when he spoke to the media today where he specifically said, that this is what he loves, and he's going to continue doing it, as long as he possibly can. Me personally, I'm a Dolphin fan. I'm not into his family. I'm a Dolphin fan, so I'm very happy that he's coming back. I didn't want him to retire. I want him to play football and help my football team, and clearly he feels the same way. But here's the thing. This Dolphin team is not a Tua away from fixing what's going on here. They'll be better, that's for sure. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle aren't going to have a combined 4 targets with Tua out there. I guarantee that. But this team is so much further away from a returning Tua to being a contending team like they were the last couple of years. There's something rotten going on with this team, and it's very, very difficult to have any kind of faith right now in Mike McDaniel. I'm not the type that usually wants to blame the coach. I think there's so much that happens on a football field. There's so much that happens in preparation to getting on a football field that blaming the coach is lazy fan analysis stuff. So I don't do that. But you can't tell me that you have 2 weeks to prepare for the Indianapolis Colts, who stink, by the way. You have 2 weeks to prepare for the Indianapolis Colts, and you could only find a way to get 4 targets to Waddle and Hill. It's inexcusable to me.
Yeah, and Zaz, no second-half points. To 10 points in the first half, no second-half points. What would be your advice to Dolphin fans for expectations for this team when Tua comes back? I know you just said you're not very high. It's not going to fix it, but it's got to be better than no points in the second half, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it'll be better. Look, when Tyler Huntley is dropping back to pass, I never expect anything good to happen, which is an awful feeling if you're a football fan because you're watching and you want to watch exciting football and you want your team to win. At least now when Tua is going to drop back to pass, I figure, okay, something cool could happen. So the viewing experience is going to be 100 times better than it's been for the last 5 weeks. But here's the thing, guys. The first game and a half of this season, because Tua got hurt, before halftime or whatever it was in the Buffalo game, the first 6 quarters of this season with Tua out there, the Dolphins were no first prize. And then you go back to the last few games last season. Again, Tua out there, Dolphins offense was not doing anything special. So, again, they'll be better with Tua out there. They have to be. I mean, Tyler Huntley, Tim Boyle, give me a break. Those are not NFL quarterbacks. They will be better, but they are far from a Tua return away from being a good team.
I agree with you on the fact that I would put some blame on McDaniel here, whether you want to call it a motivation situation or the idea that he is some offensive guru and he cannot get this team adequately prepared with all the talent that they have. I understand the quarterback, like you said, 2 non-NFL quarterbacks they got there under center and Huntley and Boyle. But at a certain point, I think you got to show a little bit of ability to adjust, and I don't think I've seen that from McDaniel. I'm down on him as well. I agree with you. We've seen a lot this past week. Of course, the Lions taking down the Vikings, and the Steelers actually showing a little something with Russell Wilson. I want to ask you straight up, are the Chiefs, based on what we saw yesterday, that was an ugly game against the San Francisco 49ers, can we confidently say that the Lions are the best team in the NFL at the moment?
Yes, Lions are the best team in the NFL. Us sports talk show hosts, we love being right. We hate being wrong. But I'll tell you, I got no problem admitting when I'm wrong. And I was dead wrong about Dan Campbell. When Dan Campbell was introduced as the coach a few years ago and you got the whole biting kneecaps, we're going to be the most physical team. Well, I mean, what head coach at his introductory press conference doesn't yell about being the most physical team? Are we ever going to see a coach get up there and say, you know what, I'm thinking we're going to be a little bit soft, all right? That's going to be my style. Everybody gets up there and says that we're going to be the toughest, most physical team. But he seemed like a total meathead to me. And now, if you want to talk about a team that takes on the personality of their coach, that's the Detroit Lions. I'm watching the post-game celebration, in the locker room yesterday. This team, they hang on to every single word that he says. They love their coach. And you also got to remember this, guys. The Detroit Lions, a few years ago, if you would have said, who are some of the worst franchises in all the professional sports, Lions votes. Calvin Johnson, Harry Sanders, they were at the top of their games because they couldn't take it anymore. We know Matthew Stafford's a really quarterback. He couldn't do anything. Campbell has completely turned this around, and he's very, very likable. The quarterback is...
Zaslow, I don't want to cut you off here. Are you in a basement? Are you in a submarine? You're cutting out a little bit. Maybe we could find a way to get him a little more connected. Are you there with us?
Zaz, check 1, 2.
I think we lost Zaz.
Wow, we lost Zaslow, so I guess he's, scuba diving or something along the lines when he decides to do his spot with us. We'll try to get Jonathan Zaslow to join us in a second.
Coach Campbell is sabotaging him. I mean, I'm kind of with him. I wasn't sold on Campbell. He brought up the biting kneecaps and tall venti coffees. I'm totally with you. I didn't buy Campbell at all either.
Mr. Zaslow comes back from his scuba trip in a submarine. Yes. Mr. Zaslow, where were we? What the hell's going on over there?
I was just telling you. I was on the Detroit Lions tip. I'm telling you. Dan Campbell, super likable. And I'm asking the question, are we sure that Jared Goff is not the best quarterback in the NFC?
Goff is the perfect script quarterback. Everything goes to plan. Everything stays in the game plan. I would take Goff over a whole lot of big-time quarterbacks in the NFL. He's not a big off-script quarterback, but I don't think that's necessarily a problem. They have so much talent. He's a perfect, kind of keep the roof on the building and don't let anything get out of control. That's my take on Jared Goff.
I mean, guys, that was a guts win yesterday in Minnesota. Yeah. You got to win the tight game. I'm very high on the Detroit Lions.
Minnesota needs to do something with the ball that, possession before Detroit went down and kicked that field goal. I think Kevin O'Connell will even tell you that. Zaz, I think it's fascinating as well what's going on with the Lions. Who in that division, though, could give him a scare? Obviously the Lions sitting at 5-1. The Vikings now 5-1. I understand they just beat the Vikings, but the Packers had a pretty impressive win at home against the Texans as well.
Very impressive win for the Packers. I mean, C.J. Stroud, that may have been the worst game of his career so far. They got nothing out of him. So it's a very impressive win for the Packers. But, guys, I feel like I've told you this before. From the start of the season, I'm very high on the Chicago Bears. Now, am I going to tell you that the Bears are going to beat out Detroit in that division? No. But the Bears are 4-2. I think it's very clear Caleb Williams is only going to get better, and that defense is really good. I'm very high on the Bears.
Jonathan Zaslow, the Zaslow Show 2.0 on ESPN Radio, and the College Football Tour joins us now on Russo and Rizzo. Zaz, to shift gears a little bit into the college side of things, were you at the Georgia-Texas game in Austin over the weekend?
Yes, I was in Austin this weekend. Great campus, great barbecue, and obviously a bit of a shocker, right? I'll tell you something. I think, and I'm guilty of this too, I think we all kind of forgot who Georgia is. You know, this Georgia Bulldog team, they have been running the show. We're talking just about right after Kirby Smart got there in 2016, 2017, whatever it was. I mean, Georgia had a streak of 49 straight games where they were the favorite against the spread, snapped this weekend. They were a 3.5-point dog. At one point, they were a 5.5-point dog, and they went into there. They waxed the Longhorns. Guys, I think we kind of forgot who the Georgia Bulldogs are, and they reminded us this week. And you know what? I think they should have been moved up to number 1. I get it that the committees, the votes are like, all right, Oregon, you were number 2. It's your turn. We'll give you a shot. You'll be the number 1 team now. But I think Georgia should have been number 1.
Yeah, I think with what Oregon did to Ohio State, I think the committee kind of overrates the Buckeyes a little bit. But I am with you, Zaz. I think Georgia proved that they're the best team in the country over the weekend. And we're a bad half away from them having that win against Alabama, too. I wanted to quickly bring up, Texas, I thought, played a good third quarter, and then the fourth quarter, they went back to what they did in that first and second quarter. I thought Texas played eerily similarly to Georgia and how they played in Tuscaloosa. How big is that gap, Zaz, between Texas and Georgia?
Texas played one good quarter. Then they got a bit of a stay of execution in the fourth quarter with the pass interference and, the kids throwing the bottles and the trash onto the field. And Texas may have a little bit of a problem because Quinn Ewers, he did not look good, obviously, this weekend. He didn't look good against Oklahoma either when he returned. And I think we all know now Oklahoma stinks. So I think you have a little bit of an issue moving forward with Quinn Ewers. They gave Archie Manning a shot late in the second quarter there. Yep. Could we wind up seeing Archie Manning again at some point? I don't know. But I do think that Georgia has reestablished themselves as the top team here.
I would agree with that. And on another note, I wanted to get your thoughts on this because I've been high on them. Army and Navy are the two service academies have been two of the stories so far this year in college football, both being in the mix for the first time in 50 years. At this point, I'm going to root for Army because I think Army's probably the better of the two. But we're in a situation there where not only can they play twice, but they're very much in consideration for that group of 5 bid on the top conference champion outside of that, right?
I'm glad you brought this up because I am very into what's going on with Army and Navy. For our ESPN Radio Campus Tour, college football tailgate in the middle of December, we are in D.C. for Army-Navy this year, all right? And it could be, it's shaping up to be maybe the biggest Army-Navy game of all time. Can you imagine if both of them – now Navy's got to play Notre Dame, but can you imagine –
Army's got them too. They both got Notre Dame. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I think it's this weekend, Navy and Notre Dame. But can you imagine going into that game with both of them? It could be a chance to make the college football playoff. Now, you got to keep an eye on Boise, all right? And Boise this weekend is at UNLV. So that's going to be a test for Boise State there. They don't have very many difficult games left on their schedule, Boise State. They could wind up running the table. So Army-Navy, they got to keep an eye on Boise because Boise, if they don't have any losses, they're going to finish ahead of them, and they're going to get that automatic bid for the third highest-ranked conference champion outside the Power Four.
Zez, quickly, SEC, Bama, are they done?
No, they're not done, but they certainly can't lose again. You know, 2 losses already at this point of the season. In the 12-team college football playoff, you can't say they're done when we're still in October, but they still have to go to LSU, and we know LSU is streaking. They're going to have the Iron Bowl, the last game of the season. Rivalry game. Who knows? Anything can happen. They cannot lose again. And if they do lose again, then yes, they are done.
And they're home against Missouri, too. I know that Missouri team kind of has come down to reality a little bit, but that's a team that feels like they can make the playoff as well. So a couple of tough games coming up for Bama.
Yeah. I mean, look, it was a few weeks ago where people like me are making the case that Bama is clearing away the best team in the country. They beat Georgia, and they've seemingly fallen off a cliff since then. It's a bit strange.
Zaz, where are you going this weekend?
So we called an audible. We were going to be in Boulder for Colorado and Cincinnati. I mean, I know everybody can't licking their chops to watch that one, but we called an audible, and we switched it up. We're going to Nashville this weekend for number 25
I like that.
Vanderbilt.
I like that.
And number 5 Texas. I'm very excited for that.
Wow, Texas right on the road, right back in the saddle.
That is not going to be an easy game. Vanderbilt's going to be very, very motivated to not only defend that ranking that they finally got this week, but that is going to be a tricky spot there for Texas to show up and give them a smacking. But that's an interesting one. I'm excited to talk about that next week. Great job as always. People want to tune into the Zaslow Show 2.0. Where can they go?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Wherever you get your podcast, Zaslow Show 2.0, Monday through Friday. We're heavy on the Miami sports scene, and every episode of Zaslow Show 2.0 brought to us by Anna, Jar, and Levine. They've been on board Zaslow Show 2.0 from day number 1. So if injury, I send you to them. Car accident, hit and run, motorcycle, slip and fall. Doesn't matter what it is. They're the best accident attorneys. They're going to get you compensation you deserve. 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733.
Great job as always, Zaz. I appreciate you joining us. We'll talk next week.
Thanks, Zaz.
I appreciate you guys. See ya.
That's Jonathan Zaslow of the College Football Tour on ESPN Radio and the Zaslow Show 2.0. Make sure you go check him out there. Given the insight on the college football, so he thinks Bama's still alive there.
Yeah,
and I guess that's a testament probably to a lot more SEC teams are going to lose.
Yeah, and I worry about at LSU. I know LSU lost to USC, and we had a good back and forth earlier about the SEC and Big Ten, but I don't know. I don't think they could win at SEC. If that game was, at LSU, I think if that game was at home, you feel a little more confident.
LSU's got a tricky next couple games here. They're at A&M, then they got home at Bama. They got a week off in between that, and then they're at Florida, home Vanderbilt, which is no longer an easy game, and then, of course, Oklahoma to finish the year. It seems like every SEC schedule I go to, this is it's not an easy schedule.
Right.
So this is going to be very tricky to see how some of these teams maneuver. I guess the golden number here is you got to be around 1 loss, you're perfect. 2 losses, you're tricky spot. It's all about the head-to-head. I mean, a team like Texas has Vanderbilt, and then they got Florida, Arkansas, Kentucky. That's a pretty favorable 3 right there. Then they finish off at Kyle Field taking on Texas A&M, which might be a big game all of a sudden.
Yeah.
If Texas A&M is sitting there with no SEC losses or 1 SEC loss, then that game is going to have a lot of playoff implications.
I mean, does Texas have a good win on the schedule yet? That Michigan win is not holding.
Yeah, I agree. So in terms of resume, Texas is sitting there, and not only that Vanderbilt loses 2 of their next 3 to ranked opponents because they have a tough schedule, then all of a sudden that game doesn't look that good. So they have to beat that A&M team just to get the bid because they haven't done anything. Anyway, good college football slate last weekend. A very good one coming up this weekend as well. Along with the NFL, you can get involved and play those games on Hard Rock Bet. You see in the first few weeks of the season, now it's time to get involved in Hard Rock Bet. Last year, you couldn't legally bet in Florida until week 14. Now entering week 7, 8. It's time to get started because there's so much to do on Hard Rock Bet. Each game, you can bet on the touchdown scores, passing yards, other stats, total points, who will win, so much more. You can also bet on college football, the MLB playoff, the World Series now that's going to happen this weekend. You can get involved in that. The NBA is tipping off this week. Get started there. Don't want to bet a ton of money? Try a parlay. You could link a bunch together, increase your odds dramatically. In week 1, a Florida bettor went 16 for 16, picking all the games against the spread, turned a $15 bet into over $100,000. They did that on Hard Rock Bet. You could do the same. Go get started today. Go check out the Discover page, all the trendy picks, where the money is. They create parlays for you, giving you increased odds or promos. It's so easy to get involved. It's got the sophistication that the experienced player wants, but it's also simple enough where the new player can get involved and acclimated pretty quickly and easily. That's how available that Hard Rock Bet app is. All you got to do to get started is download that Hard Rock Bet app on the App Store or Google Play Store, or go online to hardrock.bet. Try it today and get up to $100 back in bonus bets if that first bet does not win. First bet can be a parlay, prop, the over, whatever you like to bet. Any game you choose, you either win your first bet or get the same amount you bet back as a bonus bet. Try it today. Hard Rock Bet. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned by gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. Now, we haven't touched on it much at all this show. There's Monday Night Football tonight. Ravens-Buccaneers. Actually a good game for once. They gave ESPN a bone there. We're going to give our Monday Night Football picks presented by Hard Rock Bet next. Stick around. It's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Hi, I'm attorney Robert Rubenstein, and this is Rubenstein's Rules for Personal Injury. Rule number 11. Truck accidents require special attention. Sometimes trucking companies put their drivers in a difficult position, and accidents happen. Driving without sleep can be as dangerous as drunk driving. Loads can be too heavy. Evidence needs to be preserved for inspection without delay. Some trucking companies hide insurance, but we know how to find it. Call Rubenstein Law at 1-800-FL-LEGAL. Offices in Palm Beach and throughout Florida.
Hi, this is Blaine Isbell, Corporate Vice President of Team IP. For over 30 years, Team IP has been a national leader in decorated apparel and promotional products. National corporate brands and 22 college bowl games, including the Boca Raton Bowl, make Team IP their partner of choice. Team IP, located right in our community in Stuart, is a proud partner of ESPN West Palm. Contact me anytime at 877-821-8643 or head to teamip.com and take the first step in making Team IP your team to boost your brand.
I'm Wendy Sartori-Link, your Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections. Election Day is November 5th. Voting by mail is easy and secure. Request online at votepalmbeach.gov or call us at 561-656-6208. Return your ballot with prepaid postage or drop it off at one of our secure locations during designated hours. Our online ballot tracker allows you to get live updates on the status of your ballot, and the deadline to request is Thursday, October 24th. No matter how you vote this November, we're here to make it count. Sponsored by the Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections Office.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
PNC Bank is committed to helping the customers and the communities they serve move forward financially. To do this, they're implementing their Community Benefits Plan that focuses on affordable home lending, small business loans, and employee volunteerism, and creating other opportins to give back on a local level. They're proud to be a part of the South Florida community. See how PNC Bank can make a difference for you at pnc.com/our commitments. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys at 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-FREE. Listen, if you were in an accident, car accident, truck accident, slip and fall, trip and fall, injured on the job, workers' comp issues, call Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. They will fight for you. They do not get paid unless you get paid, and they will fight to get you the maximum compensation that you know that you deserve. Do not deal with the insurance companies on your own. That's impossible. They make it as such. Anajar and Levine will help you to take back control of your life. Again, you'll always talk about your case with an actual attorney. They answer the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help you to take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Car accidents, truck accidents, slip and fall, trip and fall. Call Anajar and Levine, my accident attorneys. Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys. Take back control of your life.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000 square foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at kaisergolfcenter.com.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Closing out the program here on a Monday. Packed week of sports over the weekend. You got a Monday Night Football game tonight. Unfortunately, no Game 7 in the MLB as the Dodgers took down the Mets once and for all. Yankees-Dodgers first pitch will be on Friday of Game 1 of the World Series, so they got some time off the rest of those arms. On the NFL side of things, you got a doubleheader tonight, actually. Chargers at Cardinals. That's on ESPN+.
I was scratching my head. I'm like, wait a minute here.
I
swear I see 2 games on here.
That is a disgrace. But Ravens-Buccaneers is actually a good game, so I'm into that.
Yeah, wait, why isn't that on? So you have to have a subscription to watch that game tonight.
Yeah, you have to have the ESPN Plus subscription, which nobody has. The only benefit I have it too. But
I do.
The only benefit is I get the Northern Arizona basketball games, so that's why I have ESPN Plus, and you have the 30 for 30 library. Those are the reasons.
That and soccer, La Liga, Bundesliga, FA Cup.
That's ESPN Plus.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's funny because soccer is separated, but Paramount. I know I'm speaking a different language here. Paramount is Champions League. Peacock has the Premier League. And then ESPN Plus is La Liga, Bundesliga, and a lot of the French league stuff. So
Buccaneers are plus 4.5 at home. That's an interesting line. I'm surprised we didn't dabble in that. I'd be down.
Yeah, we're tied up, huh? In Punchline Picks, I screwed up with a partner.
That was an emotional bet. We can admit that.
I promise I'll be better with the Mac picks. I promise.
The Ohio one, you got the emotional side got into it because that was our rivalry game. I didn't like it. I knew I didn't like it, but
then UConn
we
fought
got
hard.
Screwed. They had
UConn
a chance.
fought hard.
That quarterback, Nick Evers, he's
Yeah,
a former Wisconsin guy. He stinks.
I was blowing your line up about Clemson as well.
Yeah, well, that was
a disgrace.
That's just a bad beat. That was just a bad beat.
Horrible.
They were up 48-10 in that, or something like that in that game. That was just a bad beat.
But then Klubnik scores with like 2 minutes left. They give up a 60-yard touchdown. Brother, one stop.
Yeah, we got screwed out of that game. That's just an all-time bad beat. I think that was a good pick. It was bad beat. Let's make our Monday Night Football picks presented by Hard Rock Bet. So the good news is we can make picks on 2 games. It's our Monday Night Football picks presented by Hard Rock Bet, Florida's official sports book. For the first time ever, bet on the football season now. Try it now and receive $100 back in bonus bets if that first bet does not win. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. All right, let's start with this ESPN nonsense. ESPN Plus nonsense. Chargers at Cardinals. How about a 9 o'clock kickoff, too? Start the game earlier. That's a ridiculous. ESPN Plus 9 o'clock. Oh, God, I wish there was MLB tonight. All right, Chargers at Cardinals. Chargers have played pretty well here, sitting at 3-2. Cardinals at 2-4. Mike, what do you got there?
I'm going to go with the Chargers. I know the Cardinals, they got some firepower on that offense. Kyler Murray could ball out at any given moment, it seems. Now, is Harrison playing? That's my number one question. Harrison was dealing with a couple things. That's Marvin Harrison Jr., by the way. This was 2 days ago, the latest news. His concussion does not carry any injury designation
I believe
ahead.
He's playing, yeah.
So he will play tonight. I'm still going to go with the Chargers, though. That line, by the way, according to Hard Rock Bet, is 1 for in favor of the Chargers. I'll take -1 on Hard Rock Bet tonight with the Chargers.
Weirdly enough, I think the Cardinals are going to win tonight. I know the Chargers are getting healthier, and they got their bye week out of the way. But the Cardinals, on the other hand, are a streaky team. They're one game on, 1 game off. And they just had their 1 game off against the Packers, but the week before they had their 1 game on against the Niners. The week before that, they were terrible against the Commanders. The week before that, they were good against the Lions. This is the week. That's theme. That's that is how you do it. The 1 game on, 1 game off. We're in the on game, and they're at home.
Herbert's still playing well.
Yes.
815 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 pick. He's been sacked a couple of times. 9 sacks.
I'm going to take the Cardinals tonight. I think this is a winnable game for them. So, and I think they're a little desperate. Falling to 2-5 is in a lot of ways no man's land. I think they'll play hard. Ravens, Buccaneers, the highlight of the game. Both teams sitting at 4-2 in Tampa Bay tonight. A return to Tampa after a long week for the Buccaneers. What do you say for this game? It's been, what is it, 11? Yeah. This is the second longest other than the bye week, 11 days off now. So what do you got for this one?
Give me Mighty Mouse. We're Baker Bros, man. Give me Tampa Bay plus 4.5, according to Hard Rock. Is a miserable Brown fan right now.
He scored a lot of points last week, boys.
Have you guys seen the meme of like Wolverine sitting on his bed looking at a picture?
Sure.
That's me looking at Joe Flacco and Mighty Mouse Baker Mayfield. I miss Baker. Plus 4.5. Give me the Buccaneers. I think they move on to 5-2.
Yeah, they beat the Ravens tonight. Wow, how about what does Ravens fans say about this?
We got a money line parlay going. Both dogs. I think the Buccaneers win outright, and I think the 1-point dog Cardinals win outright. Plus 490.
So you're betting
on
against
your own. You're betting against your own team.
You're betting against your team. So either way, you're going to be happy.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's not what I want to happen. It's what I think is going to happen.
I guess it's like a natural hedge, but then you don't feel as good when your team wins because you lost money.
Hey, Papa's got it. What can I say?
By the way, man, Lamar he almost has 1,600 passing yards this year. My God, he's good. People forget.
I think the Ravens are going to win tonight. I don't think
4.5 though, Kyle?
I don't know if they'll cover. Buccaneers can't stay in front of a brick wall. They can't do it. That defense is suspect.
They're at home. Have you seen that cannon, though? They got this giant pirate ship.
Right.
Colin.
Unless they aim it at Lamar, I think they'll be. I think they're going to have some trouble tonight stopping him. So I think I would take the Ravens tonight. It's been hot as any team in the NFL. I think they continue it on tonight. That's my pick. The Ravens there. Monday Night Football doubleheader. If you want to buy ESPN Plus to get that second game, be my guest. No classic. But this is a Monday edition of Russo and Rizzo, a fun one. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Do a whole lot of stuff. Good Monday Night Football. Some baseball later in the week. Appreciate Jonathan Zaslow. Good job, CCAP behind the glass. That was Mike Rizzo. Colin Russo here, sending you off into the rest of your Monday. Take it easy. It's been Russo and Rizzo.
ESPN West Palm is highlighting the best performance of the week, presented by Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Every week, a different team will be featured across ESPN 106.3.